Hey, what it do, y'all? Well, I've been seeing stuff on TikTok going up and down TikTok, right? And I see this terminology called reactive abuse. So I looked at these videos and it was explaining that how reactive abuse. I even looked it up. It's basically pretty much if, let's say, I'm verbally abusive and I don't put my hands on nobody, or I don't put my hands on her. And my verbal abuse just builds up and builds up and builds up and builds up until she pops and gets on me and uses physical abuse. So it's said that that's a reactive abuse. And my thing about it, like, first to start off, any type of abuse is wrong. But at that same time, I think the terminology of reactive abuse is more so a thing of kind of like a thing in terminology in the therapy industry, basically to make money off of women and stuff, right? Because it gives women the power to take away accountability for their actions, and it allows women to use word gymnastics and to say, "Oh yeah, he shouldn't have did that." Well, she have left. So if you're not showing you love that person, should you just be gone? Or, you know, should if you're not treating that person right, should that be a sign of, oh, maybe maybe I shouldn't be with this person, right? At the end of the day, you would think, if you're a person with esteem and integrity, and to think, okay, if this is not the person I'm supposed to be with, I'm going to go ahead and leave. So that next person I go with, won't I won't have to put that type of abuse on them. You feel me? But yeah, long story short, that shouldn't be. It shouldn't. It shouldn't be a certain way. Like, if if I'm a man and that were to happen to me, and I put my hands on a woman and tell a woman, look what you made me do, if she's talking to my ear and saying these disrespectful things, and I just turn around and say, well, officer, well, she said this, that, and the third, and it made me kind of depressed. So she didn't see I was depressed, or saw that she was doing a little much. So I had to put my hands on her. Do you think the cop gonna be like, yeah, yeah, buddy, you'll be okay? Or is he, shoot, if I say I'm depressed, or if I say I'm any type of mental illness, they'll be ready to put me in they'll be ready to take me in a straitjacket, to be honest. But yet women do crazy things all the time and they blame their emotions. But yet also, it's a certain thing to where we have these double standards, which allows women to be a certain way. And I think, in my opinion, I think the therapy, the therapy, whatever you call it, the therapeutic industry, as far as mental health industry, is, which I should have called it that way in the beginning. The mental health industry is more targeted to women than targeted to men. I believe this because, like earlier, I think the industry is more biased towards women. And I also think in marriage, there was this lady that was a therapist, and said that whenever a couple goes to therapy for a couple therapy. The man will come in, and when they start showing that the woman is wrong or the woman need to be held accountable, the woman doesn't show up no more. So that alone is giving me a mental picture. Okay, women who go to the mental health industry to seek help don't really get the help that they really need, because there's so much bias in it that whenever a person, whenever they do get help, they're not really getting the help that they need, because they're not actually being told, well, this, that, and the third. Sometimes, I mean, I'm not saying that there's people in this industry that don't, but my opinion is, from the looks of it, we got this self-healing, self-love, this, that, and third, and most women have this talking point about self-love, when, shoot, the Bible says, love thy neighbor like you love thyself. So, it's plain and simple. If you love yourself, you love others. But if you don't love yourself, you're not going to love others completely the way you need to. But no, I think this reactive abuse thing is more so of also an accountability scapegoat for women, because if you look at it, you see a whole bunch of women saying, well, I understand because I went through that. And I'm looking like, y'all need to see somebody. But at the same time, the people that y'all see need to see somebody. So it's like, at the end of the day, the mental health industry ain't really gonna help women. Well, not completely at all. You got some gems in the industry, but at the same time, you got to find somebody that's non-biased and somebody that will tell you the truth. Which it's better for you to go to somebody that is that is in the Christian faith, because it's based on, if not biased, God's word is based on truth. Because the truth is a double-edged sword. The truth is, the truth hurts, but it gives you the ability to hold yourself accountable. It gives you the ability to look at yourself in the mirror, then point outside of the window looking at somebody else. It gives you the ability to do what you need to do to better yourself for others and better yourself for yourself. But no, I think this reactive abuse thing is more so of a thing to make people think that, or not even people, to make women think that it's all right to just put your hands on people because, yeah, you're a woman. But at the end of the day, no, I don't think, I genuinely think that it's a thing for the mental health industry to make money, and it's also a thing for it's also a thing for people, it's also a thing for women to use as a scapegoat for the debauchery that they set, and for basically the unfairness that goes on in society anyway. So all this crumbles down to women are going to keep women in their delusion, whether, no matter how bad it is, they're not going to hold other women accountable unless they're a woman that's willing to be ostracized, that's willing to be in a situation to where they're standing alone, and they're like standing alone, like there's brave women out there that goes against other women that don't think the same, And I commend those women for thinking outside of the box and thinking in their own way, and not letting them browbeat them into a certain idea, into this consortium of women that think that, okay, if you don't treat men badly, then you're not a part of this. Well, I commend those women that don't care about being in a group of women that pretty much don't really care about men. I appreciate women that appreciate men. With that being said, those women need to be protected. Those women need to be protected altogether. Looking at all these TikToks and stuff, it shows hate in, like, showed a lot of hate. It showed how much men are hated on. Not really hated on, in a sense, yeah, hated on, because at the same time, I think women in a sense wants to take that certain place, that certain leadership. I think that's why they say a lot of things about the patriarchy, because they think the patriarchy is something that's toxic, when in reality the patriarchy gave feminism a way to not be held accountable, to not hold women accountable in society right now. Which is crazy, because women who are complaining about the patriarchy I don't know, it's kind of an oxymoron, because you're blaming somebody about being mistreated, but at the same time you're mistreating men, while at the same time hating men, while simultaneously being allowed to do certain things due to what the patriarchy is letting you do. Now, that is a fact, because if you look at it, if you look at the patriarchy and stuff, it's a certain way that you got to go through things, like women protesting and stuff for certain things. Now, I think women are protesting because they want to be men now, instead of just taking the right that they were given. They just say, hey, we want more. And at the end of the day, it is what it is. But staying on topic, yeah, reactive abuse. I just say abuse is abuse. Abuse shouldn't be a certain thing. If you are being abused, you should leave that significant other, whether it's a man or a woman. Don't let the goodness in that relationship keep you there, when the bad things in the relationship are more traumatizing and more life altering than what you think, like mentally life altering. So men or women need to leave whoever is abusing them due to the fact that they're a human being that shouldn't be treating other human beings like they're not human beings. And with that being said, I don't want to hear this reaction. No, not reaction. I don't want to hear the terminology reactive abuse anymore, because it shouldn't even be a word people should be using, when all you have to do is leave. Just leave. Wait. No, I gotta. Yeah, just leave. Leave him. Or leave her. That's what you should do. Yeah. Just leave. There'll be somebody else. Anyway, I'm going about this spot. Gonna go do some hit up some do some Uber. Go home, do a little something. But anyway, y'all have a good one. Peace.